Today, I spent my time working on the puzzle element of my game. I've wanted to add this puzzle part of my game for such a long time because I wanted my game to be both first person shooter and puzzle game. Though I have stepped into many problems when making this puzzle mechanic work, which is why I've spent these 3 days working on it. The 20th of February, the 25th of February, and the 27th. First, to go on with the 20th of February, I by then figured out about adding the engine model and valve model onto my game. But the problem I had was getting the raycast to work. I'm not so experienced in how raycasting works in Unreal, so I had to go look up YouTube tutorials on how it works. Though after finding a video on YouTube, I got the valve to interact and it started working. So the only problem was I couldn't get the valve to spin the way I wanted it to. It always would just jitter a slight movement rather than constantly moving a circular direction. The other problem I had was that I couldn't figure out how to get a hold down key feature in my game. So that when you hold down E on the puzzle, it would do the whole animation and the task gets complete. What it does right now is as soon as you press E, it still carries on with the rest of the things. So I might see if I can figure out how to get that working. Going on with the 25th of February, I figured out the way, of course, to get the valve to spin. Though the only problem with that is that I still couldn't figure out how to get the holding mechanic to work, meaning the valve will just spin for a duration of time no matter if you hold it or press it. The other problem I came around was that I could not get get it so when you complete the task, all the tasks, the enemies will start appearing or enabling. So what I did on that day was I have done methods so that once you start the game, the enemies will be invisible and disabled. But when you complete the task, the enemies will re-enable and start going forward. I could not figure out why, but my casting could never work and it just never ever re-enabled the enemy after the task was complete. So on the 27th, I did the alternative method that my enemy will just be deleted from the scene once you start the game, and once you've done your tasks, it will just spawn the enemies in a location that I've selected. The bigger problems that I've come around by today is, of course, the holding side of things, and the other problem I've come to is that my tasks won't separate in the meaning that my valve and lever are the same mechanically wise. I could just when if I were to press E on the valve, it would do for 8 seconds and the task would get completed. And with the lever, if I were to just press E, I had to still have to wait 8 seconds and then get it to work. I could not figure out how to get it so that they both do separate things. What I could do is separate the tasks in by making a different blueprint for each task. Though there are two problems that I worry that could happen when I do that. The smallest problem is my worry that my casting once again won't work, though that's a small minor issue that I could probably figure out in no time. The only big problem right now is that I think I will run out of time while making this work because I still also need to figure out some other minor things with my game. But as with that, those are my 3 days working on the puzzle mechanic, and hopefully by next week I will have my puzzle working, and the game will basically be finished.